Good evening and welcome to what can quite categorically be stated as everybody's game of the year, Hades. Clearly, it won't come as a surprise that I like this game. I think pretty much everybody does. So, let's kick off. Hades is a game by Supergiant. These are the people behind Bastion and Transistor. Both are excellent games in their own right, but this one takes a little bit more of a departure. Specifically, Hades is a roguelike game, where you take the role of Zagreus, the son of Hades, who, for story reasons, is trying to escape hell. Now, personally, I'm not a major fan of roguelike games. Usually after a couple of runs, I feel like I understand enough of the game and then kind of struggle to come back. They don't really stick with me. There have been a couple that have, specifically Rogue Legacy and Darkest Dungeon, which for the most part, they're a little bit different in themselves. They have little stories that kind of unfold, but fundamentally, there's still the core issue that every run you're starting from scratch. There's not really anything that carries over. Now, Hades actually turns this a little bit on its head, and specifically, it looks at having a story that progresses as you do each and every run. As you bump into different gods, each of whom have a vast array of dialogue to go through. And seriously, I mean, I've done over 100 runs, and I really don't think I've actually heard the same line twice. This is no situation of an arrow to the knee or anything like that. It's constantly looking and moving forward. And this dialogue's not just throwaway. Each piece links to an overarching story.
Well, my nephew, you're admittedly in quite a bind down there. But what is life without its struggles, You'll make it here eventually, I'm certain.
The thoughts of the Olympians on what Zagreus is doing, as well as the thoughts of Hades on this and other characters as you go through. And as the story progresses, the dialogue that you get from these people changes with it. Once Zagreus completes his very first run, the dialogue changes. Once you achieve a different milestone, again, the dialogue changes and keeps up and never really grows stale. And it's through this that Hades really does sort of keep me coming back, not just for the gameplay, which we'll come on to in a minute because it's also brilliant, but for the story, to see where's it going, what's going to happen next, what's this god going to say. Now the gameplay really does, again, without good gameplay, you're not going to want to come back to this and keep playing this, and Hades does a really great job here. Simply starting, it's very basic. You've got the simple parts of attack, light attack, magic. It's, pretty simple. But there's more to it than that. So you start in the House of Hades. And from here, Zagreus is able to plan his escape, as well as talking to characters who, with the right encouragement and the giving of certain gifts, will give Zagreus keepsakes or other special gifts once you hit larger milestones. There's also the Mirror of Night, which allows you to add additional benefits to you. Some examples on this include extra dashes or do-overs, extra lives. And finally, there's the ability to select one of 6 weapons. Now, each weapon plays slightly differently. You start with a sword, but very quickly you're unlocking lots of others, and it doesn't stop there. Each weapon has 4 different, what I suppose you could call modes. Now, in this game, they're called aspects, based either on a previous owner of the weapon or on a potential future one. I'm a real big fan of the aspect of Lucifer on the Exegriff. Wonderful, brilliant weapon. Now, after you select your weapon, you jump from your window and you kick off. But it doesn't stop there. As with all roguelikes, you need to have a bit of randomness involved. And so you start by picking up your very first God boon. This is a special, unique power. Now, each of these can change the way in which your run goes. For example, whether it's adding Athena's Deflect to your dodge, meaning that you can run directly into projectile fire, or adding Ares' Doom effect to increase the damage you do after your initial attack. The combos are huge, and it's these combos that give me a reason to go for that just one more run approach. Now, a run might take you sort of 30 minutes to get all the way through, but it really does just fly by. Especially when you think, maybe this time will be that perfect run. Maybe this time I'll get that combo that's really going to change things up and make it so that I can get all the way through. Now, the final thing I wanted to look at covering off is the final bit that I actually think really gives Hades its longevity, and it's something I've never seen myself before. I've seen inklings of it in other games, but this way in which they manage difficulty is done through the Pact of Punishment. Now, this appears after the first time you beat the final boss. The Pact acts as your way to increase your difficulty, which by doing this allows you to gain additional rewards, or bounties as they're called here. As you continue to increase your heat, the more bounties become available, but you have to move your way up through it. But this is where I love it. You see, this is no random meter where you're going, well, I need to go heat 1 to 2, and that just means that X things happen. You can actually select how the difficulty increases. So, if you want your enemies to be faster, have more health, hit harder, then that's what you can do. Or perhaps actually what you'd rather have is a time limit because you're used to running through this really fast. The great thing is you can build this around your playstyle. And very early on, it doesn't matter because you just use your playstyle to get better and better, getting you ready for that point where you're going to have to add the difficulty that you're perhaps not very comfortable with. Also, if you do struggle with one combination of difficulties, you can just go back and change it. Again, giving you that extra replayability. So, there we go. These are the core reasons I absolutely love Hades, and quite frankly are probably the core reasons why everyone loves Hades. There is really a reason behind it. The tight combat, which really does come back over from Bastion, the sudden combinations that you can get, and the Pact of Punishment. It's absolutely brilliant. So, 100% go check it out. I love it, it's brilliant, everyone else loves it. If you've not already played it, go grab it. Anyway, until next time, thank you, and goodbye.